Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learnt over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And in today's video, I thought I'd give you a little tour / show and tell of some of the tiny plants in my collection. I feel like these ones get overlooked quite a lot because maybe they're not considered as exciting as some of my other big plants, but I absolutely love them and I'm looking forward to showing you them. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So when I was gathering all of my plants together to film this video, I realised that I've actually got loads of really small plants and I'd probably be here for hours if I took you through all of them. So the ones I've put to one side to show you are pretty much all kind of 7cm pots or less. So they're really teeny tiny. And the first one is a relatively new addition to my collection. It's a little string of turtles, and if you're a member of my Patreon and you're a top tier patron, you will have seen this one already because I did a little unboxing video the other day and I got some really lovely things. But this string of turtles, I love this plant so much, and I've never actually had one in my own collection. And back when my shop was open, I used to stock this plant, and I don't know why I never kept one for myself because it's just adorable. And I made this little pot a while ago that actually had one of my Antheriumclarinervium seedlings in it, but I just stuck it in here because I thought it looked really lovely. I haven't really done too much to this plant yet because I've only had it for a few days and I don't want to kind of mess with it too much, but it's just beautiful. I really love it and I can't wait to see it grow big. I just love those gorgeous turtley leaves. They're just absolutely beautiful. I'm going to be saying that about pretty much every plant we go through because you know me, that's what I say about all my plants. But yeah, I'm really happy with that one. I can't stop looking at it and I need to stop picking it up and putting it down because I just love it. I really love it. Oops, I just knocked a leaf off. Right, okay, that's a sign. Put it down, move on, Claire. And then this next one's a little Cebu blue, which as you can see has just got such beautiful fenestration. Like I haven't seen that before unless it's quite a mature plant. And as you can see, this one is really not. I got this one as a rooted cutting from Etsy a couple of months ago and it wasn't really doing much until a few days ago. And as you can see now, it's got a beautiful new growth point and it's just gorgeous. I really love it. I've never had this plant before. I know it's a lot easier to get hold of nowadays. It's not considered particularly rare anymore, or at least here in the UK it's not, but it's lovely. I absolutely love it. So this one I know I've shown you quite a few times over the last few months. This is a little Antheriumclarinervium that I grew from seed. I'm not sure yet, as you know if you've watched my other videos, I'm not sure if it's pure Clarinervium or not, but I feel like with every new leaf its vein pattern is becoming a little bit clearer. And again, any theories, let me know. I would really love to know. I'm so impatient. But with this newest leaf, it's a little bit longer than traditional Clarinervium, and I'm kind of thinking that maybe it's a hybrid now. I'm not quite sure. I did have this one in the little pot that the string of turtles is now in until quite recently, and then I repotted it and oh my goodness, it's got such a good root system on it. I was genuinely so surprised. I thought it would still be quite small and kind of spindly, but it's really full and kind of antherium-y. Antherium-y, you know what I mean? They've got those really beautiful big thick succulent roots and this little one has got them already, so I'm really proud of this little plant and I can't wait to see it continue to grow. But the next one, okay, so this one is technically a cheat plant because it's in a slightly bigger pot. It was in a much smaller pot until the other day, but I had to repot it because its roots were coming through the bottom. It's still very small, it's still a baby plant, but it's just a little Fertonia that I absolutely love. It is probably the most dramatic plant in the world, but it makes it very easy to tell when it needs watering because its leaves will literally just go, ugh, like that, and it'll kind of flop out of its pot, look completely dead, and then within an hour of watering it, it'll be like ding, perk up. So yeah, this is one that I don't really monitor that much, to be honest. I just watch it and when I see it droop, then I'll throw some water on it and it's happy. But I just love its leaves. They're so pretty. I have heard as well, and I don't know if any of you have experience with this, but I've heard that they can just be grown as hydro plants, like in aquariums and stuff like that. And I've never tried it, but I'd be very interested to know. So do let me know. But yeah, that is that one. And then this one's not the most exciting one. I still really love it, but it's maybe not kind of like a wow plant. It's just a little green Echeveria, which is so pretty and again requires pretty much no care at all. This is another one that I feel the leaves, and if they feel a bit squidgy, then I'm like, if it's been a few weeks and it's feeling a bit squidgy, it probably just needs some water. But I've got it in a really highlight spot. It actually does get some direct sun and it seems really, really happy. It's definitely not a fast grower. Like this one has been like that for about 6 months and I don't think much has happened to it, but it's just quite nice, especially when you've got so many plants, to have some really low maintenance plants that aren't constantly going at a million miles an hour, because with all of my small plants, if they got big very quickly, I'm pretty much out of room as it is. I don't know what I would do with them all. But yeah, that's that little one. And then this one I showed you fairly recently. This is a Paleopeperomioides, which I propagated in water from a stem cutting. And I just think it looks gorgeous in that pot. To be honest, that's why I went with this pot. I decorated a load of terracotta pots a while ago and thought that they would all look really nice together. I mean, ironically, none of them have stayed together. They've all kind of been dotted here, there and everywhere. But it has got, you can see a little pup coming up there with loads of new leaves. So I might divide it. I don't know if I want to keep it in this pot. Obviously, it won't be able to be in this pot for very long, but I'm still deciding what to do about that. I'm gonna let it get a little bit bigger and then I will wait and see. But yeah, I really adore this plant. I love the mother plant just as much, if not more. It's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's such a cheeky plant. Like, it's just really unusual and it's really cheap to buy as well. So you can get hold of them really easily. And again, really easy to care for. A really good beginner plant, I would say, this one. And yeah, very easy to propagate. I have spoken about pilea propagation before, but when I spoke about it in my care video, I think I'm right in saying, I did. I just spoke about stem propagation, which is what I did with this one. But you can absolutely do division as well. So I could technically take that little bit out of the soil, divide it, pot it up, and I would have a whole new plant. This one here, this one I know I'm saying I love them all, aren't I? Maybe I just won't say it and you can just assume that I love them all. But this is a Peperomia Hope, which is definitely getting too big for this pot now. But I think I'm probably gonna put it in a hanging pot and just let it trail, because I'm trying to build up my hanging plant collection. I've been making hangers like crazy at the moment. If anyone wants to see a video on that, then let me know, I will do that. But this is just a really lovely plant. It's very different to the other peperomias in my collection. It's a lot more succulent. I mean, it really doesn't feel like a peperomia when you touch the leaves. It feels more like a Hoya or like an Echeveria, to be honest. But it's really beautiful. I really love it, and I am gonna need to repot it very soon. So yes, that one, I'll put that one there actually, and maybe I'll repot it later today. Oh, the sun's just hit the room and it's getting warm. Maybe I won't. I'll see how I'm feeling. And then this one is, I mean, it's still in a tiny pot, but I guess not so little anymore. This is a little Varicosum, as you can see. And this one I grew from a kind of wet stick chunk that came off one of my other plants, and I didn't think it was gonna do anything, but it's grown really, really nicely, and it's got a beautiful new leaf on the way there. Just because of how quickly it's growing at the moment, I'm not sure how long I'm gonna be able to leave it in this pot. I can't see roots coming through the bottom yet, but I would have thought probably in the next month or so, it's probably going to be due for an upgrade in pot size, but it's just gorgeous. I really love it. And I'm so happy because I really wasn't expecting this one, as I say, to do anything. And it's producing lovely new growth. So yes. And then this one that's looking a little bit sorry for itself is a Philodendron Marmay. This is one of the ones that I swapped for at the plant swap recently. And I mean, to be honest, it's got a beautiful new leaf coming just there. So I feel like once that unfurls, I'll probably chop this leaf back. It did have pests and I had to deal with that. And I did lose the original, I think there were 3 leaves on it when I first got it. And that was about, I want to say about a month ago now. But the fact that it's given me a new leaf is really, really promising. I know this is a crawling plant and I've potted it up just normally at the moment, but I just wanted to kind of see what it was going to do, see if it was going to survive. And the fact that it has means that I probably need to pot it in a little trough or something. I've got my other Marmay, my bigger one in there actually, that I need to do the same with. So I guess I could get a trough and plant them at either ends and kind of let them crawl towards each other. I don't know. Oh, that's got my brain going now. But yeah, I need to find a little trough for it soon and pot it up in that. But for now, for now, it's not looking too happy, but as I say, that new leaf there is giving me a lot of hope. And this one, I'm pretty sure I'm right in saying is a Senecio Pyramidalis, but if anyone could confirm that, that would be amazing. Again, it's such a low maintenance plant. It's a succulent. It lives over there on the windowsill, which is north facing, but it gets a little bit of direct sun, and it's really, really happy. I love a low maintenance plants when I've got lots of other high maintenance plants. So yeah, it's also a relatively fast growing succulent. I've had this one since it was down there, and it's given me a lot of new growth in the time that I've had it. And I think it just looks so lovely. The thing that I love about kind of grouping plants together is the different textures of them. It's not just about colours. It's like in the background here, like that one. I just love the texture of that next to my other plants. And whenever I see this one on the shelf, although I maybe don't pay as much attention to it as some of my other higher maintenance plants, I'm always just like, oh, it looks really pretty. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about that plant really, but it's really gorgeous. It's very easy to care for. Again, highly recommend as a beginner plant, so long as you don't overwater it. But yes, that is, oh, I'm running out of space. That is that one. And this one here, as you can see, is just a teeny tiny string of pearls. I just took some cuttings from my mother plant, and I actually propagated these in soil, which I very rarely do. I've spoken before about soil propagation, and it just scares me a bit. I've had a really low success rate with it in the past, but this one seems, touch wood, to have done really well in soil. It's been in there for a few months now, and all the leaves still feel really full and healthy. So I'm thinking, oh, apart from that one there. Oh, there we go. That one lifts right out. Oh, it does have a little root on it. Okay, I'll put that to one side and think about what I'm going to do about that afterwards. But the rest of them look really lovely and healthy. I know it's not as full as it could be, but as I say, it's a very small pot. I didn't want to cram it too full and then risk damaging it all when I took them all out. So maybe I'll add some more, or maybe I'll move it up a pot size and then add some more. That's what I think I'll do. This is me just going through and thinking out loud with all of my plans for my plants right now. But it's really lovely. I love it. Again, texture, is that just me? Textures of different plants. String of pearls is in general just one of my favorite plants in my entire collection. Again, I know it's not particularly rare, but every single time I see it, I've got my big one up there, which I will put a clip in of. I've showed you it before, but every time I look at it, I'm just like, oh, it's just such a lovely plant. I feel like it's so underrated and it doesn't get enough attention. So yeah, I'm propagating that plant lots and hoping to at some point fill my house with little string of pearls. I've just spilt soil everywhere. Oops. I wasn't going to go through any propagations in this video, but this one, up until the other day, was one of my baby plants, and I'm such an idiot. It's my jewel orchid again. I have broken this plant on every single occasion I've owned it. I got a beautiful one from House of Kojo about a year ago, which I dropped and it snapped and I couldn't do anything about it. I tried to propagate it, but no luck. And the exact same thing happens the other day, and it was so gorgeous, so gorgeous. I've got one bit that's still up there that is still in the pot and is still growing, but I've lost all this section and I'm really sad about it. I did ask on Instagram if any of you guys had propagated these plants before, and a lot of you said water was the best way to go. So although it kind of scares me and I feel like it might rot, in fact you can actually see the aerial roots there are kind of swelling a little bit, so maybe this is the best way forward. I'm just going to keep it in water for now. If anyone's got a better idea, if anyone thinks sphagnum moss, because I know some people did say sphagnum moss. If anybody thinks that's a better idea than this little ice cream bowl, then let me know and I'll do that, because I really want to save this plant. But for now, I'm still counting it as one of my baby plants. It's just not currently in its pot. This next one I know is definitely ready to be repotted. It's a Dracaena, and as you can see, its roots have pushed itself up out of the soil and it's really, really wobbly. So this one is definitely screaming for a repot, but for now, it is still in my tiny plants collection. You can actually see its leaves are kind of a little bit curled. It has been watered, but it clearly isn't getting enough nutrients that it needs from the soil, because I'm guessing from what I can see, that root system is probably pretty big and way too big for the pot, but it's a really lovely plant. Again, very easy to care for. Dracaenas are just great. And again, I feel like they're one that don't get spoken about enough. I really love Dracaenas and I've got quite a few in my collection, but this one, yeah, this one is definitely in need of a repot. I really love it in this little pot. It looks so lovely, but I know that's not the best thing for the plant. So that will also go into my repotting list. And this one, again, if you're on my top tier Patreon, you will have seen in the unboxing video. This is a new addition to my collection. It's Syngonium Pixie, and I just love its leaves. They're so beautiful and delicate, and I mean, pixie-ish. I know that's such an obvious thing to say, but they've got such a kind of, I don't know, they look like little pixies' shoes or something like that. They're just so adorable. And its soil actually at the moment is bone dry, so I need to give that one a water, and it's also in need of a repot. You can see its roots coming out of the bottom, but it's just really, really lovely. I'm really enjoying Syngoniums at the moment. I went through a phase of kind of not really liking them that much. I knew they were really kind of popular, and I was like, don't really get it. But all of a sudden I got some Syngoniums, and now I can't stop. So this little one is probably the best way to go, because as I say, I need to stop buying big plants. I need to keep going with propagations, cuttings, swapping plants, all that sort of stuff. And that is on the whole what I'm trying to do this year, although I did cave recently. I got a few plants, but this one doesn't count because it's small. Okay. And this one was a little rescue plant. I'm pretty certain it's a Calantho, but I can't remember off the top of my head what type of Calantho it was. I feel like I had the name in my head and now I can't remember. But I got this one off the rescue shelf at my local garden centre, and I think I got it for about 10p. It was really not in a good way at all. It had really bad root rot. You could just tell, I mean, it was so squidgy when I first got it. I had to chop it back to basically nothing and chop its roots back as well. So it's in a very small pot, and it's not looking as healthy as it could. Like, you can see that leaf there, which actually looks like it might have a bit of fungal something going on. I might need to take a look at that. But it's hanging on, and it's doing a lot better than it was. It's got some lovely new growth at the top there. So I'm holding on hope with this one and hoping that it will make a swift recovery. But again, as many succulents do, and lots of houseplants as well, you know how much I love it. But it's got beautiful bluey green leaves, which I don't know what it is about them. Like, every time I see a plant with bluey green, I meant bluey silver leaves, I'm just like, oh, I like, it doesn't look real, and it just looks like a beautiful, I don't know, like a beautiful painting or something. So I'm always drawn to plants like that, meaning that I've got quite a lot of succulents in my collection that maybe I wouldn't normally choose, but I like the colour, and so I fall in love with them. And that is the case with this plant. But yeah, I'm gonna put that to one side and have a kind of thorough examination of it once I finish filming this video. But the next one I showed you in my Propagate With Me video recently. This is a little fishbone cactus, and again, this is a soil propagation. This is one that has done really, really well. And as you can see, in fact, even from the time that I filmed that video, which was only a few days ago, even from the time I filmed that, you can see it's got lovely new growth coming up here in the top. And I just really adore this plant. It's one of my favorites. It's one that I really love. Again, texture, I love the texture. I love how kind of like woohoo it is. And I've got my bigger one in a hang basket now, actually, because it's starting to kind of droop, and I love that. I can't wait for it to get long and hang down. But I wanted to take a cutting as well, because I wanted to just get another one going, because I personally don't mind having duplicates of plants in my collection so long as I really love that plant. I know some people are like, no, if you've got that plant, you don't need another one. But if I love a plant and I want to have it around my house a lot, then sometimes having it in one space is not enough. So that is how I felt about this one. So yeah. And then I have got here, again, this is a slightly bigger pot, but it was in a smaller pot until recently. This is a variegated umbrella tree, which actually isn't really a baby plant anymore. It was tiny when I first got it. It was about there, and it was, yeah, I'd say maybe a couple of inches tall, and now it's absolutely beautiful. And this is one, again, that really doesn't require much care. I just wait for the soil to kind of dry out slightly, give it some water, keep it in bright and direct light, and it's never given me any issues. It's even been in environments like downstairs where the humidity isn't quite so high, where it's been fine. It hasn't had any browning leaves or anything like that. So despite it maybe looking like quite a sensitive plant, because, you know, sometimes you'll look at a plant and you'll be like, oh, you look like you're going to be trouble. And this one really hasn't. So if you're looking for a lovely kind of more colourful plant with lots of nice textures, nice colours, then I would definitely recommend this one. And then this one, I mean, this one's not very exciting, to be honest. It's a blue Mirtillo cactus, and to be honest, I haven't repotted it since I got it, and that was well over a year ago, potentially 2 years ago, I don't know. So this one's due for a repot, but I always get so spiked and I hate it. So I need to get some kind of proper industrial gardening gloves and then give it a go, because the more it's maturing, actually, its spikes are getting a lot more prickly. And yeah, I love the look of it. And I also love this little bucket planter. I got this back when my shop was open and I got loads of them in stock, and I ended up keeping most of them for myself, which is why I should not be able to run a shop. But yeah, I do like it. Not a lot to say about it. It's very easy to care for, doesn't really need much doing to it. Very, very hard to kill. I've gone months without watering this one before and it's always been fine. Whenever I've watered it, it's bounced back just fine. And then I've got a little Sansevieria Victoria, I think this is. And again, like very similar to this one. And in fact, lots of my succulents that I've shown you, it really doesn't require much care. It's very hard to kill this plant. I mean, probably famous last words, and I'm sorry if I'm saying that and you have killed this plant, but it just doesn't require any care. It can survive in low light, high light. It's hard to overwater. It's not impossible, but it's hard to overwater these plants, harder than some others that might be more sensitive. And I mean, again, it can go for months without water. It shouldn't technically, but it can. It's very drought tolerant. And yeah, I don't really do a lot to it, but I like the look of it. And it grows very, very, very slowly. But again, I just like it. I like having it there with the rest of my plants. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites. Oh, I feel bad saying that. I always feel bad when I say a plant's not my favorite. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, but it's a lovely plant. I do like it. Another one that I would say is pretty much on par with the snake plants with just how easy it is this one. This is a little ZZ plant. And again, I don't have a lot to say about this one. It's just kind of, it's there. I love it. It's a very kind of planty plant, if that makes any sense at all. Does anyone know what I mean? It's kind of just, it just looks very much like a plant. Like some of the others you see, like this one, you're like, oh wow, that's so cool. This one is just very much kind of like standard plant. But yeah, it's really, really, did I say this already? Really hard to kill these plants. They can survive in virtually no light at all. So if your house doesn't get a lot of natural light, these ones are literally going to be your best friend. They're fairly hard to overwater, but they're also very, very hard to underwater. I think I probably, on the whole, water this one every few weeks or so, and it's fine. It's never complained. It's very, very, very slow growing, and that's probably because I do neglect it slightly, but it is the kind of plant that you can neglect and it's not gonna complain too much. So yes. And then here's one that's not particularly happy, but I have hope for. So this is an aloe vera, and my mum's got a big aloe vera plant, and this was a little pup that had come up from the soil and it just wasn't looking very good. And I thought, okay, I'll take it out and I'll see what I can do. And as you can see, it's meant to be bright green, and at the moment it's very kind of browny, purpley, not great. In fact, I feel like it would probably benefit if I chop these outside leaves off. However, can you see on camera? If you have a look at the middle there is starting to be some green on it. So I do have hope for this plant. I really love aloe veras. I've got quite a few in my collection. I've got a big one of my own and I've got a variegated one. And I think this is just a normal aloe vera, but it's really lovely. And yeah, it's just kind of there at the moment. It's just kind of surviving or barely surviving. But I feel like when I give it a really good chop back and just kind of keep monitoring it, I really hope it bounces back. I'll keep you updated, but there is hope at the moment from that green in the middle. And this is one that I love so much. This is a Peperomia Obtusofolia, and oh, just dropped some of its soil out. But I just love it. I really love it. Again, this was a slightly bigger plant that I divided. I think it was about in this size pot when I got it, and it needed repotting, but I was like, I really like it in the kind of small, tiny little pots. So I divided it. It didn't have a massive root system on it. And this one I was actually a little bit worried about. I didn't know if it was going to survive, but it has, and it's doing really, really well. I just love the variegation on its leaves. And also, I'm pretty sure, I know this isn't kind of standard like Ficus elastica rubber plant, but it is also known as the rubber plant. And if you could feel it, or perhaps you can even, oh my goodness, Claire, come on, dropping soil everywhere. Perhaps you can even tell on camera, it is really kind of succulent and rubbery. It's very similar texture to a Ficus elastica actually, but yeah, it's a really hardy plant. Again, I mean, I feel like most of these, with a couple of exceptions, are very low maintenance and they just look so lovely. It's not the fastest grower in the world, but again, I don't really mind. I think it looks lovely as it is. So that's that one. And then another one, again, okay, soil propagation that I am always confident with. So this is, I say that, it's not looking great at the moment, but this is a Crassulovata Jade plant. And this one I pretty much always propagate in soil. That is, as I say, the one exception to my no soil propagating rule, which I just need to get over because I know soil propagation can be amazing. But this one, I just kind of chopped off the mother plant, stuck in soil about 2 months ago, I'd say. And you can see it's got some new growth coming up there, and it's doing pretty well. I mean, it's not as green as it could be at the moment. You can see it's kind of, I think it's just sun stress because I have had it in quite a sunny spot and I probably need to move it back from the window a little bit. But it's a great plant. It's so easy to propagate. And yeah, you can propagate these plants in so many ways. I think I did make a video on this. I did make a video on this a while ago, but yeah, you can propagate it in so many different ways. But for me, it's the easiest way to literally just take a bit, stick it in soil, water it, keep it in a bright, warm spot, and before you know it, you will have a lovely new plant. Another one of my succulents that I know I probably should move back from the window for the same reasons is this Crassulovata Hottentot, and I just love that name, Hottentot. It just goes so well with the plant. It looks very Hottentotty. I don't know what that means, but I feel like Hottentot is a very appropriate name. And yeah, again, it's lovely. It's kind of similar to Burrow's tail, but they can get really, really big. I've seen them as kind of big trailing plants, and they look gorgeous. So hopefully mine one day will reach that stage. But for now, I really like it. It's got loads of new growth coming up around the top there. So hopefully that will start kind of bursting out and trailing soon as well. I don't think it's ready for a repot yet, but again, just kind of monitoring it. It's not the fastest grower, and I'm fine with that. And then I've just got one more. As I say, I could go on and show you some of my other smaller plants, but I feel like I've been through quite a few. I'll just show you this one more for now. And if you want to see more kind of small plant collection or big plant collection or any kind of specific plant collection, let me know in the comments. I will do it. But the last one is the Peperomia pepper spot, which is very similar. I mean, I was going to say very similar to String of Turtles, which is Peperomia prostrata. And you can see that bar the variegation, they're actually very similar in structure and kind of in texture as well. This is another Peperomia that's really quite succulent, and oh, the sun's right on it, so I don't know if you can see. And I'm pretty sure it is also outgrowing its pot. This one wasn't kind of branching out or trailing at all when I first got it. It was very kind of contained, and it almost just looked like a little green top to the pot. And in the last, I'd say in the last month since the weather's picked up, it's really gone for it. And I think I probably need to get it in a hang basket pretty quickly, because again, I would love it to eventually trail down. But yeah, so those are all of my tiniest baby plants, not including propagations. Obviously, I have done a propagation update video very recently, so if you want to see that, then go and check it out. But if you'd like to see more plant collection tours, big plants, small plants, as I said just now, let me know. Also, let me know in the comments below what some of your favourite baby plants are in your collection, or any that you've got your eye on. Not that I should be expanding my collection. I know that I've probably got enough for now, but if I see something I like, then maybe I will be inspired, and maybe I will put it on my wish list. That's a healthier thing to do. Put it on my wish list. So yeah, let me know in the comments, because I would love to know. But if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.